Welcome, everybody, to Tino's Time Wrestling. And on this episode, we are going to recap all the action that went down last night at Survivor Series. It was time for brand supremacy. Which brand was better, Raw or SmackDown? We talked about it in my pre show. If you listen in my preview, the build has not been very good, but the matches on the paper look really good, and the champions versus championship matches do look very good. And there were some things that we would talk about that would change, but altogether, this pay-per-view, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best Survivor Series, like, oh my god, this is awesome. But it definitely was better than what I thought it was going to be. So let's not waste any more time and let's get into all the action and recap all the action that happened last night. And the first match on the card that happened, it was Damien Priest, the United States champion, versus the Intercontinental champion Shinsuke Nakamura. And this match, it was on the pre-show, and it was very disappointing because, let's be honest, people, this match is a main event caliber match, and this is a match that we could see in the main event for years to come. They fought in New Japan, they fought each other, they even had a standoff the night before, and we didn't even see it. That's something that they should have shown, because like we talked about throughout the whole pay-per-view, throughout my pre-show, throughout before the pay-per-view, there was absolutely no build, and that was one of the biggest disappointments. And this match was kind of the same. It was very disappointing, as in, like, Rick Rude and Shinsuke Nakamura's big buddy, he kept playing the guitar and he kept distracting Damien Priest, and Damien Priest kept getting aggravated and frustrated, and he was just like, stop. And finally he was like, you do it one more time, I'm gonna snap. And the match only lasted 9 minutes, and he ended up doing it again, and Priest ended up snapping. He grabbed the guitar, he smashed it between his legs, he smashed Shinsuke Nakamura's buddy with it, he hit Shinsuke with it, and he got disqualified. But Damian Priest seemed to turn heel, and if that's the case, that's probably the best outcome to come out of this match, because it would be kind of cool to see Damian Priest be a heel. But this match, like we talked about, this is a main event caliber match, and this match should have been on the main card, and it should have been given more time. Like I said, it was only 9 minutes, and in the end, Shinsuke Nakamura ended up winning by disqualification and giving SmackDown a 1-0 lead in the Survivor Series. Because remember, each brand has one guy, and they were keeping track all night. So SmackDown, after the pre-show, took a 1-0 lead. And I thought SmackDown was going to go on top and they were going to run away with it. But that just was not the case. The first match on the main card, after, there were rumors. I heard before the show, Big E versus Roman Reigns were going to start the show. And then there was a lot of backlash on Twitter. And I think people just were not for that. So I don't know if they changed it at the last minute. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was going on. But the first match on the card on the main show, they switched it, and Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair started the show, and Roman and Big E ended up main eventing, so everything ended up working out okay. And Becky and Charlotte, people might have been like, why did this match start the show? But this match was really good, and this was a great way to start the show. I know we've seen Becky and Charlotte face each other over and over again, and I was tired of seeing it. But these two are still one of the best in WWE, in wrestling, in professional wrestling. And, they ended up putting on a great show. It was 18 minutes. Both women beat the hell out of each other. But in the end, Becky Lynch seemed to roll up Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, before that, rolled up Becky Lynch, and she tried to grab onto the ropes. But the referee caught Charlotte Flair, and then Becky Lynch did the exact same thing, and the referee didn't see her. So Becky Lynch ended up rolling up Charlotte Flair and picking up the win for the 1-2-3 and giving Raw their first win of the night. And like I said, this match was really good, and it was one of the good matches. I said this pay-per-view wasn't the best. It wasn't the best Survivor Series, but it was definitely better than I thought. It just wasn't like, oh my god, it wasn't like the hype. It wasn't what Survivor Series should have been. But like I said, the matches on the card looked pretty good, and they gave these matches time. And that was the big thing. Like I talked about, this match was 18 minutes, and the shortest match on the card was 14 minutes, and that was the Tag Team Championship match that we'll get to in a little bit. But before we get to that, let's talk about the men's traditional match. It was Raw versus SmackDown. We saw Seth Rollins as the team captain for Raw, Drew McIntyre for SmackDown. Kevin Owens was on the team, Lashley. We saw all these great superstars beat the hell out of each other. 10 superstars were gonna go at it. But before the bell could even ring, Kevin Owens decided to walk out. He said bye. It sounded like he was going to AEW. He's like, bye, I'm going to AEW with the Young Bucks. I don't need this place. So he walked out, and he got counted out, and he was the first one to be eliminated for Team Raw. But then Team Raw went on a roll. They eliminated Happy Corbin. Finn Balor did. King Woods was eliminated by Bobby Lashley after he did the hurt lock, and he choked out Xavier Woods. McIntyre ended up counted out after Bobby Lashley and him fought. They renewed the rivalry we saw during that pandemic, and when Drew McIntyre was running things on Monday nights. But Drew McIntyre ended up getting counted out, and SmackDown lost 3 superstars. But so did Lashley get counted out while Drew McIntyre got counted out. So that was kind of a wash. And, so SmackDown only lost 2 guys. And, then Balor was eliminated by Sheamus. Sheamus ended up taking over for Sami Zayn after winning a Fatal 4-Way match on this past SmackDown. And he came out big and he eliminated Finn Balor with the Broad Kick. But then Sheamus was eliminated by Austin Theory when Austin Theory rolled him up. And we talked about Austin Theory on my pre-show. He took over for Rey Mysterio. Lashley took over for Dominic. Austin Theory, he actually put on a really good show before he was eliminated by Sheamus. I was really impressed, and I was happy that he was in this match longer than he was. But, Austin Theory was eliminated by a Swanton Bomb by Jeff Hardy. And the final 2 in this match were Seth Rollins versus Jeff Hardy. That's a dream match I've always wanted to see. And it might only be for a couple minutes in Survivor Series, but I talked about the time that they give these matches, and this match lasted about 30 minutes. And nobody wants to listen to me talk about the whole match for 30 minutes. But if you have time and you have a little time today or tomorrow, go watch it. It was really worth 30 minutes. And these guys put on an absolute show. And Jeff Hardy and Seth Rollins beat the hell out of each other for a good 5 to 6 minutes. And I was happy with what it was. I would love to see them run it back and see them have a match down the road. But in the end, Seth Rollins hit the stomp, and he pinned Jeff Hardy for the 1, 2, 3, and he picked up the win for Team Raw, and Raw was up 2-1 after 3 matches. The next match on the card, it was time for the 25-man Battle Royal for the 25-year anniversary of The Rock debuting at Survivor Series. Can't even believe it's been 25 years. The Rock debuted when I was about 4 or 5 months old. He debuted in 96. I was born in 96. So for all you 96 babies, that's just crazy to think about. Or for all you people that were born before that to think about, I just cannot believe it's been 25 years since The Rock debuted. And I was really hoping to see The Rock, and I was hoping to see him come out or do some type of a promo. But I saw somebody say on Twitter that he was eating PB&J sandwiches and watching TV and not even saying anything about Survivor Series. But, it was what it was, and I was very upset because I think this match should have been on the pre-show. This match lasted 10 minutes, and that would have been perfectly fine. You could have put it on the pre-show. You could have given Nakamura and Priest a little bit more time, but I'm not the one that runs the show. The final 6 in the Battle Royal was Omos, the Street Profits, Ricochet, and Cesaro. And Omos, he seems to be breaking records for some reason. Vince McMahon loves these big men, and he just, for some reason, thinks that this is what we want to see. But it's not what we want to see. Omos eliminated 12 men. He ended up winning the whole thing, and Omos won it for Raw, and he gave Raw a 3-1 lead after eliminating everybody pretty much. He eliminated 12 of 24 guys. I think he even eliminated AJ Styles and was like, I'm trying to break Braun and Kane and everybody's record. But, that's just what Vince likes to do, is put these big men over. So I'm pretty sure we'll see Omos do something. Speaking of Vince McMahon, let's take a second before we get into the tag team title match, let's talk about what Vince McMahon was doing with an egg. Vince McMahon, for some reason, decided to bring an egg. If you have not seen Red Notice on Netflix, The Rock's new movie, they were promoting it, and they brought Cleopatra's egg from the movie. I haven't been able to watch the whole movie yet. I started it last night, but I fell asleep. I'm going to start watching it again after I'm done recording and see what happens. But Vince McMahon was talking about an egg. He was like, everybody look at this egg, and all the roster was celebrating like it was the biggest thing in the world. And then he said he bought it for $100 million, and he was telling Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns was like, you better have that kind of money in my next contract. But my question is, we talked about it on the pre-show. We've talked about it all over Twitter. Why is Vince McMahon allowed to buy this egg, but he can't pay the talent that he released? And it makes no sense. I know the egg, it's just a promotion. I know he really didn't buy the egg. But come on. We know Vince McMahon's got that kind of money, and he should be paying his talent, and we should be seeing better things. But they did a promotion, and they were doing it throughout the whole show. And then Vince McMahon told Adam Pearce, because the egg was stolen, and we don't know who stole the egg. By the end of Survivor Series, the egg was stolen. And yeah, so now Vince McMahon told Adam Pearce that everybody from Raw, everybody from SmackDown has to be on Monday Night Raw tonight to find out who stole the egg. So who the hell stole the egg? Was it R-Truth? Was it somebody that got released? Maybe I stole the egg. Maybe I got the egg. Maybe I got it hiding in Tino's Time's basement. Who knows? But we'll find out who stole the egg tonight on Monday Night Raw. So I guess that's exciting to watch, right? We get to find out who stole the egg. But I'm really excited to watch the Red Notice movie because I heard that it's getting a sequel already, and it's got really good reviews. So if you haven't, go watch Red Notice on Netflix and go support our man. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? I just had to get that out. I love that. But back to the matches that happened at Survivor Series. And let's talk about the tag team match. It was RK Bro versus the Usos, SmackDown Tag Team Champions versus the Raw Tag Team Champions. And these two tag teams, Randy and Riddle were put together before WrestleMania, and there were rumors that they were going to compete and win the tag titles like it has happened. And this has been a very good run, and I love Randy Orton. Randy Orton broke the all-time record for most performances at any type of pay-per-view. Congratulations, Randy. You deserve it. You've been committed to WWE. You're the best. You're one of the best in the world. I really hope you don't go to AEW and you jump ship like all these other guys do, because you'll always be a WWE guy in my heart. So please stay here and don't leave. So congratulations. And Randy, you put on a show in this match. These guys beat the hell out of each other. It was a great match. It only lasted 14 minutes. Like I said earlier, this was the match that lasted the shortest amount of time. But it was one of those things that just it wasn't as bad as it was really good, and it was probably one of the good matches for being such a short amount of time. But in the end, we thought the Usos were going to have it. We thought Riddle was going to be down and out. Jimmy was going for the splash. But all of a sudden, Randy Orton comes out of nowhere. He hits the RKO out of nowhere, flying in the air like he did to Seth Rollins, like he did to CM Punk at WrestleMania. It was crazy to see. And Randy Orton picked up the win for the 1-2-3 and gave Raw a 4-1 lead over SmackDown. And at this point, it was just okay, so Raw's gonna win. Raw got brand supremacy because for some reason I thought SmackDown was gonna take the dub this year because SmackDown's been hot. It's been on Fox. We got the head of the table. We got Charlotte Flair. The Queen. All the things. But Vince McMahon loves his Raw. So Team Raw ended up winning. Ended up clinching Survivor Series and having brand supremacy because no matter what happened in the final two matches, the best it was going to be was 4-3. And yeah, so Raw already won after Randy Orton hit that RKO out of nowhere, man. That was ridiculous. But now, let's talk about the 5-on-5 women's traditional match. And this match, it lasted 23 minutes. It only lasted 7 minutes shorter than the men's. And, this was one of the matches, I was happy that they were giving it time. We've talked about it throughout the whole show. about how they've given the matches time and they finally just given what we wanted to see, and it wasn't like they didn't rush anything. And this is where I say, like, it was a good pay-per-view. It just wasn't booked right. I think SmackDown should have won, and especially in this match, because Carmella was the first woman to be eliminated after Toni Storm rolled her up and pinned her, and the queen and the most beautiful woman of WWE was eliminated, and she was freaking out because she was too worried about that mask that she was wearing. Moreover, COVID is still around, obviously, but Carmella, you need to not wear that mask and just show your face. And yeah, stop wearing the mask because it's costing you matches. Queen Vega was then eliminated by Toni Storm too. Toni Storm was on a roll. She was eliminating people left and right. She was doing her thing. She was a baller, and Toni Storm was putting on a show. Maybe we better see Toni Storm versus Charlotte Flair down the road, because we saw Toni come out a few weeks ago on SmackDown, and that's a dream match that I would love to see. And it's two blonde girls, and we know how Vince is obsessed with his blondes. Speaking of blonde girls, Liv Morgan, she only lives once. She's the number one contender for the Raw Women's Champion. She's future Raw Women's Champion. She ended up eliminating Toni Storm with the Oblivion, and Liv Morgan was doing her thing. She was feeling good, but later on in the match, Liv Morgan was eliminated by Sasha Banks after she dedicated the frog splash to the late, great Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat, La Cheatin' Steel. You always be one of the best, Eddie Guerrero. Sasha Banks did the frog splash and eliminated Liv Morgan. Rhea Ripley was then eliminated by Shayna Baszler. And SmackDown was up 4-1. The only person left on Monday Night Raw was Bianca Belair, the EST. And the EST was about to, she was about to give up. She was about to just get the beat crap out of her by SmackDown. And SmackDown again was up 4-1. You really not going to blow this like the Cleveland Indians blew that, like the Golden State blew the 3-1 lead, right? No, I mean, I didn't think so. But then Sasha and Shotzi can't get along. They just cannot, for some reason, do their thing. And you couldn't realize and you couldn't do their things for Team SmackDown. And, it didn't work out. And for some reason, Team SmackDown, decided, we don't need the boss, one of the best in the world. We don't need her on our team. So they got her disqualified, and then it was down to 3-1. And this is where they gave Bianca Belair some momentum, and then Bianca Belair rolled up Natalya. She eliminated Shayna Baszler, and then it was down to Shotzi Blackheart, and Bianca Belair, and it was one-on-one. SmackDown had it. You do not give up a lead. It was like watching the World Series and the NBA Championship again. Come on, you are up 4-1 and you blow it, and now it's a one-on-one. And Shotzi Blackheart, ever since she's been called up, she was in the tag team with Tegan Nox. Sadly, Tegan Nox got released, another awful release. Hopefully, Tegan Nox finds a good job down the road and we see her again in professional wrestling, because she's very, very talented, and it sucks that she's been released. But Shotzi seems to finally be getting some momentum on SmackDown. She's had that rivalry with Sasha, and she's been, and it seems like they always say Survivor Series can make the superstars, and maybe this is a catapult, and maybe we're going to see Shotzi Blackheart in some type of big rivalry with Sasha Banks, or maybe for a title. We'll have to see down the road, but that was really nice to see that Shotzi is finally getting the opportunity that she deserves. And Shotzi and Bianca went back and forth for a good amount of time, and they beat the crap out of each other. It was really good, and it was really fun to see. But in the end, Bianca Belair proved why she's the EST of WWE, why she's the bestest, she's the fastest, she's the strongest, why she's the best in the world at what she does. Bianca Belair hit the KOD, and she won for Team Raw, and she picked up the 1-2-3 and beat Shotzi Blackheart and overcame a 4-1 deficit like the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Chicago Cubs did all those years ago. It was like watching it all over again. But Raw ended up taking the win, and they were up 5-1. And like I said, SmackDown just couldn't get it going. And this was the one thing. I thought SmackDown was going to win. I thought that, they were going to do their thing. They were going to be able to beat everybody. But for some reason, Vince McMahon loves Raw. And it is what it is. But After they were up 5-1, it was finally time for the main event. It was time for the head of the table, Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, versus the WWE Champion, Big E. And these two, what a show it was. This match was phenomenal. This match was great. It was so back and forth. Big E hit the big ending a few times. I thought Roman was going to lose. Raw was winning at 5-1. I thought they were just going to let Roman lose. And, it was just so back and forth. They beat the crap out of each other, and it was a great match. It lasted 21 minutes, and it was just phenomenal to see. And I was so happy with everything that these two did. And it was just great to see. And I'm just, again, happy that Big E is getting this opportunity to prove why he can be a main event player. Roman Reigns is on one of the best runs we've ever seen in WWE. I'm pretty sure this run is going to go down as one of the best of all time. Who knows who's ever going to dethrone him. I was hoping to see The Rock. I was waiting to hear that music. But like I said earlier, he was sitting at home watching a TV probably, eating peanut butter and jelly, not even watching the pay-per-view. And that just kind of sucks because as The Rock and as WWE fan, WWF fan, it would have been cool to see The Rock post something and just interact a little bit, but, it is what it is. And yeah, so in the end, after these two men battled for 21 minutes and 55 seconds, Roman Reigns hit the spear and he pinned Big E for the 1-2-3. And what a battle it was. But Roman Reigns said, we ain't going to go down without a fight. We're going to get on the board again, and SmackDown ended up losing 2-5, and Raw ended up taking home brand supremacy for 2021 in WWE. And this is also something I talked about on my pre-show. I thought maybe, if whoever won Survivor Series, they should be able to be put, they get the 30th entrant, or maybe they get, the 6th entrant in Elimination Chamber, or maybe they get a title shot, whatever it could have been. I just thought that would have been something cool. They even gave away a trophy a bunch of years ago. They don't give away a trophy. But Raw ended up winning 5-2 and proved why Monday Night Raw is always the A show and why it always will be, and why SmackDown will always be that show that everybody just puts on the back burner, and why it's not the B show. We know it's better than Raw. It's the A show, but in Vince McMahon's head, it's the A show. So it is what it is. Congratulations to Monday Night Raw for winning 5-2, and like I said, Survivor Series, it was what it was. It was a good pay-per-view. It wasn't the best. It wasn't something we were excited to see and everything. But, yeah. But now that Survivor Series is over, what's next? Monday Night Raw is tonight. What's next for the Red Brand after winning 5-2 and defeating SmackDown? Damien Priest snapped last night on Shinsuke Nakamura. Is he going to continue his demon streak? Is he going to continue to go off? We're going to officially see him turn heel? That's something I want to see. And who's going to challenge him, and who's going to be the next competitor for the United States Champion? Liv versus Becky. When are they going to fight? Are we going to see them fight at day one? Sadly, there is no WWE pay-per-view in December, so don't you worry. I'll be doing a Tino's Time special in December to make sure that we still have some good content coming out for Tino's Time, since we won't be talking about a pay-per-view until WWE's Day 1 on New Year's Day, and that will be exciting. It should be exciting, and I'm sure we're going to see Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch if we don't see it before then. What's next for Big E? Who's Big E's next opponent? Are we going to see somebody come out new? Are we going to see who's going to fight Big E? I can't even think of anybody that could. I mean, I don't even know who's on the roster anymore after these releases. But Monday Night Raw should be good. Hopefully it's good. It's not, I don't get my hopes up ever. I usually watch Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Football at the same time, so it makes it go by a little bit faster. But, hopefully Monday Night Raw, we see some good things happen, and we see some type of build towards day one, since we didn't see any build for Survivor Series. But what's next for Tino's Time and Tino's Time? What's next for Tino's Time Wrestling, and when are we going to talk again? Well, the next pay-per-view, it's time to go to War Games. We're going to War Games for NXT on December 5th. So get ready to join me as we preview all the action that is going to go down. And those 2 rings of brutality, as of right now, we have 1 match official for War Games. It's Team Dakota Kai with Toxic Attraction versus, it seems it's going to be Io Shirai, Raquel Gonzalez, and, we'll find out who the other competitors are later on, I'm sure in a few weeks. But on the men's side, I'm sure we're going to see Team Breaker versus Team Ciampa, and it would be cool to see NXT 2.0 versus the old style NXT. So that's exciting. War Games always delivers. War Games is one of the best pay-per-views around. That's happening on December 5th. So get excited. I'll be there. I'll be ready. Don't you worry. I'll get you ready for all the action that's going to go down. And there you have it. I hope everybody enjoyed Survivor Series for what it was. If you're rooting for Monday Night Raw, congratulations on winning brand supremacy. If you're rooting for SmackDown like I always do because I'm always the underdog, then sadly, it's not what it was, and it's okay. Maybe we'll get them next year. I sound like a Cubs fan over here. But, yeah. So, until we talk and we do our thing about Day 1, or about War Games. I'm sorry, I was getting too far ahead about myself. I just said it. War Games in a few weeks, and we'll be doing a Tino's Time special, my 1-year anniversary for Tino's Time Wrestling. Started it a year ago on Survivor Series, so I'll be doing a Tino's Time special. I'll be showing you all of my collectibles. I have so many behind me. I have some to the right of me, some in front of me. I want to show everybody, just to do something a little different so everybody knows what I got, and you might laugh at me, and that's okay, but just know one day all this stuff is going to be valuable, and you'll be jealous when your boy Tino has it all. I want to give a big shout out to my little sister Gianna for making this sweatshirt of Tino's Time. I've worn it a few times and I haven't really said nothing, but I want to give her a big shout out because she does really good work, and maybe I got to get more of these and start selling them. You guys gonna wear some Tino's Time merchandise if I make it? Heck yeah. But until next time we talk WWE NXT War Games, don't forget to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, follow, share, like at Tino Time 1996, Tino Time 10 on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere you listen to your podcast, all your social medias. We have so much coming up. Don't forget about fantasy football. It's almost playoff time, people. And that's coming out tomorrow. Week 11 recap. Week 12 preview. So get excited for that, all you fantasy football freaks and geeks. So, again, for the last time, until NXT War Games and we preview all the amazing action, this is your boy Tino, signing out.